Avoid these 3 foods that cause joint pain and inflammation. Today, we're diving into something that might surprise you: foods and drinks that could be secretly triggering inflammation and causing joint pain. If you've been dealing with stiffness, soreness, or discomfort in your joints, this video is going to give you some eye-opening insights. We're going to uncover the top foods that might be making your pain worse, and I'll explain why they have such a strong impact on your body. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to watch out for, and more importantly, how small changes in your diet can make a big difference in how your joints feel every single day. Number 1, alcohol. Now, I know, for many of us, a glass of wine or a cold beer at the end of the day can feel like a little moment of relaxation, right? I get it. I'm not here to shame anyone or tell you that you can never enjoy a drink again. But when it comes to inflammation and joint health, alcohol is something we really need to pay attention to. And today, I want to break down exactly why alcohol can be a silent trigger for joint pain, and why reducing or avoiding it could make a huge difference in how you feel every single day. First, let's talk about what alcohol does inside your body. When you drink, your liver has to work overtime to process it. This triggers a cascade of chemical reactions in your body, some of which increase inflammatory molecules called cytokines. These cytokines are basically tiny messengers that tell your immune system to activate. Now, in small doses, your body can handle this, but regular alcohol consumption keeps those inflammatory signals running, which means your joints, muscles, and connective tissues are under constant stress. This stress can show up as stiffness, swelling, or pain, especially if you're already prone to conditions like arthritis or gout. And speaking of gout, this is a big one. Alcohol can increase uric acid levels in your blood, and when uric acid crystals form in the joints, you get that sudden, sharp, and often debilitating pain. You may have even heard people say, "Oh, I can't have that drink, it flares me up." That's exactly what's happening. Even moderate drinking can trigger flare-ups in people who are sensitive to uric acid. So it's not just about general inflammation, it can directly affect your joints in very tangible, painful ways. Now let's also touch on something people often overlook: alcohol's effect on sleep. We all know that a nightcap can sometimes help you fall asleep faster, but alcohol actually disrupts the quality of your sleep, especially the deep, restorative stages. And here's the kicker: your body repairs inflammation and tissue damage during sleep. If your sleep is constantly interrupted or shallow because of alcohol, you're missing out on this critical repair time. That means your joints stay inflamed longer, and your recovery from daily stress or exercise slows down. It's a hidden factor that many people don't realize contributes to ongoing joint pain. Another important aspect is nutrition. Alcohol doesn't just sit in your body harmlessly. It can actually interfere with the absorption of key nutrients that help reduce inflammation and keep your joints healthy. Things like magnesium, zinc, and B vitamins can all be depleted with regular drinking. These nutrients play a role in everything from collagen formation to nerve signaling, and when they're low, your joints don't get the support they need. So even if you're eating healthy, drinking regularly can sabotage those efforts. And I want to be honest here. I'm not saying you have to quit cold turkey. It's about understanding the impact and making smarter choices. For example, if you know you have a history of joint pain or inflammation, cutting back to a rare drink or finding non-alcoholic alternatives can make a huge difference. Some people see noticeable reductions in swelling and stiffness just by eliminating alcohol for a few weeks. Your joints are smart. They respond quickly when the stressor is removed. Let's also consider the bigger picture. Inflammation doesn't just affect your joints, it can affect your energy, mood, and overall well-being. When alcohol keeps your body in a constant state of low-grade inflammation, it's harder to exercise, harder to stay active, and harder to maintain a lifestyle that supports healthy joints. That's why alcohol is often one of the first things I recommend people reassess if they're dealing with chronic joint pain. It's not a miracle cure, but reducing or eliminating it can create a ripple effect across all areas of joint health. Now, I want you to imagine this: a week, 2 weeks, or even a month without alcohol. You might notice your joints feel lighter, less stiff in the morning, maybe even less tender after activity. You might also notice better sleep, more energy, and a clearer mind. And the best part is, these changes are achievable without complex diets, expensive supplements, or painful routines. It's a simple change, but it can be transformative. So when we think about foods and drinks that trigger inflammation and joint pain, alcohol is right at the top of the list. It's something many people enjoy socially, but its impact on inflammation, uric acid levels, nutrient absorption, and sleep quality can create a perfect storm for joint discomfort. And the empowering thing here is that you have control. By choosing when, how much, or whether to drink at all, you're taking an active step toward reducing inflammation and supporting your joint health naturally. Remember, your body responds to the choices you make every day. Even small adjustments, like swapping 1 or 2 alcoholic drinks a week for water, herbal tea, or sparkling water with lemon, can gradually reduce your joint pain. It's about creating consistency and building habits that support your well-being over the long term. Alcohol doesn't have to be a permanent enemy, but understanding its effects allows you to make informed decisions about your health, and that's incredibly powerful. So take a moment to reflect on your drinking habits and how your joints feel. Are you noticing stiffness or pain after social events, weekends, or evenings when alcohol is involved? That might be a clue that cutting back, even slightly, could help your body find relief. And when you pair this with anti-inflammatory foods, gentle exercise, and proper rest, you're giving your joints the best possible environment to heal and stay healthy. Number 2, processed vegetable oils. Now, this is one that might surprise a lot of people because when you think of vegetable oils, you probably imagine something healthy, right? Something you might use for cooking, baking, or even in salad dressings. But the truth is, many of the commonly used processed vegetable oils, things like corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, and canola oil, can actually be a hidden trigger for inflammation and joint pain. And today, I want to explain exactly why that is and how simply swapping these oils out can have a huge positive impact on your joint health. Let's start by talking about what these oils are made of. Most processed vegetable oils are very high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, don't get me wrong, omega-6 fats are essential for your body, meaning you do need some of them to stay healthy. They help with cell function, brain health, and skin integrity. The problem comes when omega-6 intake is too high compared to omega-3 intake, which is very common in the modern diet. That imbalance actually promotes inflammation in the body. Your joints, muscles, and connective tissues are very sensitive to inflammation, and when it's chronically elevated, you start to notice stiffness, swelling, and discomfort over time. What's tricky about processed vegetable oils is that they're almost everywhere. They're in fried foods, packaged snacks, baked goods, margarine, and even many restaurant dishes. That means you could be consuming them multiple times a day without even realizing it. And here's the kicker. These oils are usually highly processed. They go through chemical extraction and refining processes, which can create harmful compounds, including free radicals and trans fats. These compounds further contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation in the body, and yes, your joints feel that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I only use a little bit of oil in cooking. How much damage can it really do? The answer is, even small amounts can add up over time, especially if your diet already leans toward processed foods. Chronic exposure to these inflammatory oils can slowly increase stiffness and discomfort in your joints, even if you're not noticing it immediately. And for people with arthritis, gout, or other inflammatory joint conditions, the impact can be even more pronounced. It's subtle, but it's real. Another thing to consider is that processed vegetable oils can interfere with the balance of fatty acids in your body. When omega-6 fats dominate your diet, they compete with omega-3 fats, like those found in fatty fish, flaxseed, and chia seeds, for absorption and use in your body. Omega-3s are well known for their anti-inflammatory effects. They help calm inflammation, lubricate joints, and support overall cardiovascular health. So when processed vegetable oils crowd out your omega-3s, you're essentially tipping the scale toward more inflammation. Your joints are caught right in the middle of this imbalance. And it's not just about inflammation. Some studies suggest that these oils can also influence your immune system. They can activate certain pathways that promote a low-grade, chronic inflammatory response. That's exactly the kind of inflammation that makes your joints feel tender, stiff, and achy, even if you're not doing anything physically strenuous. It's like your body is constantly simmering in a low-level state of irritation, which over time can wear down your joint tissues. Here's the good news. Avoiding or reducing processed vegetable oils is something you can take control of immediately. It doesn't require expensive supplements or complicated diets. Simple swaps, like cooking with olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil, can make a noticeable difference. These oils are less processed, rich in healthy fats, and they don't promote the same inflammatory responses that vegetable oils do. Even small changes, like using avocado oil for roasting vegetables instead of soybean oil, or drizzling olive oil on salads instead of buying pre-made dressings full of seed oils, can help tip the scale in your favor. And it goes beyond just cooking. When you start reading labels and avoiding snacks, baked goods, and packaged foods that use these oils, you're giving your joints a real break. Your body starts to experience less systemic inflammation, which means morning stiffness decreases, soreness after activity improves, and over time, you might even notice more flexibility and ease of movement. Now, I know lifestyle changes can feel daunting, especially when these oils are so common. But here's the key. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be mindful and make small, consistent swaps. Over a few weeks, your joints will begin to respond. You'll notice subtle improvements, like less tenderness, easier movement, and a general feeling of lightness in your body. And that's incredibly motivating because it reinforces that your choices matter and that your body is capable of healing when given the right support. Another bonus of cutting out processed vegetable oils is that it often encourages healthier eating overall. When you're avoiding fried snacks, packaged foods, and other high omega-6 sources, you naturally gravitate toward whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These foods not only reduce inflammation, but also provide the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support joint repair and overall health. So it's a win-win: less inflammatory oils and more nutrient-dense foods to nourish your body. So if you're looking to take a proactive step toward healthier joints, this is one of the easiest and most impactful changes you can make. Processed vegetable oils might seem harmless, but their effect on inflammation and joint health is real. By becoming aware, making smarter choices, and swapping these oils for healthier alternatives, you're giving your joints a fighting chance to stay flexible, strong, and pain-free. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every time you choose olive oil over soybean oil or cook at home instead of grabbing something fried, you're actively reducing inflammation and supporting your joint health. Over time, these small choices compound into noticeable improvements in how you feel, move, and live your life. Your joints will thank you, and so will your overall health. Number 3. Refined carbohydrates. Now, when we talk about refined carbs, we're talking about foods like white bread, white rice, pastries, cookies, crackers, and even many breakfast cereals. These are the types of carbs that have been stripped of most of their fiber and nutrients during processing, leaving behind what's often called empty calories. And while they may taste great and feel comforting, they are one of the biggest hidden triggers for inflammation and joint pain. Let's start by understanding why. When you eat refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises rapidly. This spike triggers your pancreas to release insulin to help regulate that sugar. And while your body is designed to handle occasional spikes, consistently eating high amounts of refined carbs keeps your insulin levels elevated. Over time, this contributes to systemic inflammation, which is exactly what you don't want if you're trying to protect your joints. Your body ends up in a constant state of low-grade inflammation, which can make your joints feel stiff, sore, and less flexible. What makes refined carbs particularly tricky is how quickly they're absorbed. Unlike whole grains, which release sugar slowly and provide fiber to help your body process it, refined carbs are digested almost instantly. That means your blood sugar spikes, your body overproduces insulin, and inflammatory molecules called cytokines get released. These cytokines are like tiny alarm bells in your body that tell your immune system to activate, which can result in swelling and discomfort in your joints. If you're someone who experiences morning stiffness or flare-ups after meals, these refined carbs could be a major culprit. And here's something that many people don't realize. Refined carbs can also worsen your joint health indirectly by contributing to weight gain. Because these foods are calorie-dense but not filling, it's easy to overeat. Extra body weight puts additional stress on your joints, especially your knees, hips, and lower back. Even a small amount of excess weight can increase the load on your joints, accelerate cartilage breakdown, and worsen inflammation. So when you combine the inflammatory effect of refined carbs with the physical stress from extra weight, you've got a double impact on your joint health. Now let's talk about another sneaky effect. Refined carbohydrates can also affect the balance of bacteria in your gut. Your gut microbiome plays a huge role in regulating inflammation throughout your body, including in your joints. Diets high in refined carbs can promote the growth of harmful bacteria and reduce the diversity of beneficial bacteria. When your gut microbiome is out of balance, your body becomes more prone to systemic inflammation, which can show up as joint pain and stiffness. So even if you're exercising and taking care of your joints in other ways, refined carbs can quietly undermine your efforts from the inside out. But here's the great news. This is one of the easiest triggers to manage. Unlike some other factors, reducing refined carbs doesn't require expensive supplements, complicated routines, or extreme diets. It's all about making smarter swaps. For example, instead of white bread or pastries, you could try whole grain bread, oatmeal, or quinoa. Instead of white rice, you can switch to brown rice, wild rice, or cauliflower rice. And instead of sugary cereals or snacks, you can enjoy fruits, nuts, or seeds that provide natural sweetness along with fiber and antioxidants. These swaps not only reduce inflammation, but also help stabilize your blood sugar and support your overall energy levels. Another reason cutting back on refined carbs is so powerful is that it often encourages other healthy habits. When you start avoiding refined snacks and baked goods, you naturally reach for whole foods, vegetables, fruits, legumes, and lean proteins. These foods are rich in anti-inflammatory compounds, vitamins, and minerals that support joint repair and overall health. So, reducing refined carbs doesn't just take something harmful out of your diet, it also makes room for foods that actively help your joints feel better. And let's be honest, refined carbs are everywhere, and it can feel impossible to avoid them completely. But the key is not perfection, it's progress. You don't have to remove every single refined carb from your diet overnight. Even small, consistent changes, like swapping white bread for whole grain bread at breakfast, replacing white rice with quinoa at lunch, or choosing fruit over a sugary snack in the afternoon, can gradually reduce inflammation in your joints. Over a few weeks, you'll start noticing subtle improvements: less stiffness in the morning, reduced swelling after meals, and even more energy throughout the day. One more thing to consider is that refined carbohydrates can also affect your energy and recovery. Because they cause blood sugar spikes and crashes, you may feel tired or sluggish after meals. This can make it harder to stay active, exercise, and move in ways that support your joint health. By choosing complex carbs instead, you stabilize your blood sugar, improve energy levels, and support your body's natural anti-inflammatory processes. Your joints get the nutrients, blood flow, and movement they need to stay strong and flexible. So, when we look at refined carbohydrates, it's clear why they are a top food to avoid if you're concerned about inflammation and joint pain. They may seem harmless, but they can spike blood sugar, increase inflammation, disrupt your gut microbiome, contribute to weight gain, and reduce energy, all of which negatively affect your joints. The empowering part is that by being mindful and making smarter swaps, you can take control of this factor and give your joints a chance to heal and feel better. Remember, every small change counts. Cutting back on refined carbs, even gradually, can lead to noticeable improvements in how your joints feel. It's not about restriction. It's about giving your body the right building blocks for health, mobility, and comfort. By choosing whole, nutrient-dense alternatives, you're actively reducing inflammation, supporting cartilage repair, and creating a lifestyle that protects your joints for the long term. So the next time you reach for that white bread, sugary cereal, or packaged snack, think about your joints and how they'll feel tomorrow, next week, and in the months ahead. Making mindful choices now pays off in more flexibility, less pain, and a stronger, healthier body that supports your every movement. Summary. Alright, so there you have it, the top 3 hidden triggers that could be increasing inflammation and causing joint pain: alcohol, processed vegetable oils, and refined carbohydrates. These are foods and drinks that may seem harmless or even enjoyable, but they can quietly contribute to stiffness, swelling, and discomfort over time. The great news is that by being mindful of what you're putting into your body, you can take control of your joint health. Even small changes like reducing alcohol, swapping vegetable oils for healthier alternatives, or replacing refined carbs with whole grains can make a huge difference. Over time, you'll likely notice more flexibility, less pain, better energy, and an overall improvement in how your body feels day to day. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every small choice adds up, and your joints respond quickly when given the right support. So start today, pay attention to your body, and make one change at a time. Your joints will thank you, and your overall health will improve along the way. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more tips to reduce inflammation and improve your joint health naturally. Share this with a friend or family member who might benefit too, and I'll see you in the next video.